All right, here we go. Touch and Tips, episode 5. Welcome back. Wilky and Brennan Show. Come check us, like, share, and subscribe. Get all that fun stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Well, so I went golfing today. As you can see in my attire, I'm dressed in my best impersonation of a white guy.
Looking sharp.
Well, actually, it's moments like this. Actually, this morning when I was waking up to get dressed in golf shit is when I'm like, it realizes how far out of society I've fallen. Where it's like I have no fucking clothes to go golfing in. Like it's just like if they aren't black pants and a black shirt, it's like anybody's guess what's even in my fucking drawers at this point. I'm guessing that's the same shit with you, considering episode 5, we're still rocking black pants, black shirt, even on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it sounds like an ideal situation for myself. But...
Well, my wife made me all self-conscious. I tried to leave the fucking house in a pair of sweatpants. She's like, "You're golfing in that?" I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why do I gotta wear fucking shorts and a yuppie shirt in order to fucking play golf?
I guess
so.
I mean, they let Adam Sandler. I would dress like Adam Sandler if they let me on the golf course.
That's just it. It's like, what is this, the fucking Masters? Like, I can't just roll up in a pair of sweatpants? So I had to wear shorts and be mildly uncomfortable. It was kind of cold.
It was cold.
Yeah, it was cold. But yeah. So, but that brings me to kind of a thing about the restaurant business in general. It's like I went golfing with my brother. It was probably the first time we hung out solo, like me and him, in fucking years at this point. He's not in the business. He works a day job, and it's tough sometimes when you every single night of the week have to fucking work while everyone else is going out doing the shit they want to do. And every day of the week when you have all this free time, like nobody's around to do anything with you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it. It's definitely like you're it's almost like you're working like car salesman hours.
Yeah.
You know? Like I don't know. I can't think of like the last time I went out and did anything with my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I think a few of us went to like the cigar bar together like a year ago.
Yeah. Well, that's
Like-
just it. It all revolves still around like going out to bars and shit like that, you
Yeah.
know?
And
You
like,
just got to do it on your night off.
what
know?
are you supposed to do to like your friends that aren't in the industry? Like your closest thing you can offer them is like, why don't you come see me at the bar that I work
Yeah,
at?
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you come give me $25-$30 and take up some seats at my bar and maybe I'll have enough time to talk to you. But
Yeah, and if I'm busy, then fuck you. You'll just see the
Murphy's-
back of my head.
Yeah, Murphy's Law will dictate that
Yeah.
I will be too busy to talk to you. So
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
that goes kind of with, with friendships and relationships, though. I mean, it's tough, especially on like the, we're both married. You know, we have wives who both work. Renee worked in the industry, right? Briefly.
Yeah, that's how we met. So
Yeah.
she knows what's up.
Yeah. So same with my wife. But even then, like, they might know what's up, but it still sucks. You know, it's annoying when, your wife has to be like, hey, I want to, this acquaintance of mine is getting married in September. Can you get that Saturday off? And I have to be like, I could do whatever you want, but that's a fucking $1,000 swing. You
Yeah.
know, like, do you want me to be there that
Yep.
badly? Like, and sometimes that goes over better than others.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've been like forced to almost like adapt on the fly about it. You know what I mean? Like I had like a loss in my family, and now it's like, I feel like in years past I would have been like, it's gonna be like impossible for me to get off of work.
Yeah.
And like this, maybe for the first time ever, like I just reached out to work and I was like, yo, like I'm not going to be available Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm sorry about that. I didn't see this coming, but like I'm putting my family first and I'm going to do what I think I got to do for them. And, just to get back to that, I don't know, like the establishing boundaries things that we've talked about before, like it's crazy. I've been in the industry this long and this is like the first time, aside from me being like personally injured, that I've actually stuck up for myself and been like, all right. Or I don't want to say stuck up for myself, but actually,
but
like,
stuck up for yourself.
just,
Yeah.
And I'm at the point now, like financially, where it's like I'm not living shift to shift. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it doesn't like we say, oh, it's $1,000 swing, but I'm up way more $1,000 swings than I'm going to be down. So
Sure.
to me, it's just like whatever. Like I love grinding about my money. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I'm trying to have this awakening to where it's like this industry is all about making money, but it's not the most important thing. So
Right.
I don't know. I'm pulling back and I'm putting the people around me, putting them first.
Yeah.
So
I mean, let me be clear. Like, when it comes to the $1,000 swing thing, that's almost like a crutch argument, and I'll even admit it, because, like, I don't live fucking night to night either. But at the same time, what it is really it's an even exchange, because it's like, all right, if I'm going to that fucking wedding in September, that means there's going to be some other Friday or something that, like, we want to do something as a family that I'm just not going to be able to do that, because I can't take every fucking weekend off,
yeah,
So it's like, do I want to choose that one weekend to be one of those few weekends that I do take off? It's like, for kind of friends that are just like, they're ancillary, It's like, no, not really,
yeah,
Like, this past Friday actually was finally able to get a night off. I didn't even get the goddamn night off. I got cut early, which never happens. But luckily the management kind of could see that I was trying to get this shift covered all fucking week. My kid's baseball game that was like rained out on the day I could have gone ended up being rescheduled on the Friday, and I was kind of just like, I want to go see this fucking game. Like, I don't get to see many of these. This is one I want to see.
yeah,
So yeah, so I luckily was able to get out early, made it to the game like literally the moment my kid was like got up to bat. So it was like perfect timing.
that's cool.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if you don't say shit, like, they're going to just be like, all right, well, fuck you. You're working every Friday, every Saturday forever. So, you kind of do have to balance it out, where it's like, you can't have every weekend off, but you got to take some, you got to do some shit with your family and shit. Otherwise, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to be 55 fucking years old, and you're going to be like, nobody even knows who I am.
Yeah.
You have kids that are complete strangers and shit. So, and I've seen a few dudes like that in this business, where it's like, they're talking about, their second divorce. They're talking about their 3 kids, the one of which never even speaks to them. And you're just like, damn, dude, like, you really fucked this up. Huh?
Yeah.
So those are cautionary tales all over the place in the restaurant business.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the weekends, like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna fully get out of it, but it's like, I feel like that is kind of like the course that I'm trending on right now.
Yeah.
Is like, now I think I have like 5 jobs right now technically. So like, it's like, can I start slowly assembling things to where, like, I'm working Monday through Friday, and I have the majority of like Saturdays and Sundays off to do like friends and family stuff.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're not going to be able to get probably any of them off, but if you can build to a point to where you're only working every other Friday, every other Saturday or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you can start participating in life a little more. I think you'll, get a little more happiness out of the grind that's happening to you,
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you work by virtue of you working at 5 different fucking spots, like, you're in a kind of a tough spot where, you have to work every Sunday, you have to work every Saturday and shit like that, in terms of like scheduling purposes.
yeah.
I'm lucky, at least in the regard that the place I work, they aren't open on Sundays. So no matter what, I fucking say that, but now I'm remembering, I think at the end of this month, I have to be there for fucking Brown graduation.
Yeah.
But usually we're not open on Sundays. So that at least is my day every week with my family. But then that turns into like the, how many people, I have friends and shit that, like, first of all, anybody who's not in the business, like, at this point in time, I almost don't even talk to anymore, just because I don't have like any way of actually hanging out with them on a regular basis. Like, we'll text and shit, but like, I have a good friend that I used to bartend with who is now like in the corporate gig kind of fucking job market. And, we text and shit, but like, I haven't seen him in probably 2 years. Basically, if I only have one day a week really with my family, so that means, like, for the most part, like, when it comes to friendships and shit, like, I don't hang out with anybody. Like, I have to basically prioritize shit. And I just gotta be like, dude, I'm sorry, but I want to spend time with my family, and I have 2 jobs. Like, I can't fit you in there, Nothing personal. Like, you're still my friend. If you called me up and were like, wanted to talk, yeah, sure. But like, I just can't justify dropping everything just for, like, the various people in my life, I'll put it this way, like, my brother, like, I don't ever see my brother, and he's like my best friend, So
Yeah.
it's like, if I can't fit him in, then I definitely can't fit you in. Sorry, buddy. Like, I have a guy who wants to, like, always go golfing, or, was always like, hey, we should go golfing all last year, and like, we never got to do it. It's like, well, yeah, because I don't have time to go play golf.
Yeah, time doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make plans. as unfortunate as it is, you know. It's
Yeah,
like you gotta,
and even then, you have to just be willing to be like, well, I'll make plans with you, man, but just know that if I call you like the 3 days beforehand,
Yeah.
like the answer might not be yes anymore. You know,
yeah,
shit always happens. You know, obviously you had something come up, with your family and shit, and you never know with shit like that. But everybody else is in that same boat. You know, if somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, so and so's grandfather died and they can't make it to work tomorrow," it's like, all right, well, I guess that's my fucking shift now.
yeah.
So just is what it is.
Yeah, that's like another. I was circling back to one of those kind of mini points about me working all these other places too. Like, if I need a day off, it's like I feel like there's very little chance or little wiggle room for me to be like, hey, I'll make, because most of the time, nobody's gonna want to just straight pick that shift up. There's gonna be like a trade.
Always
involved.
a deal. Always a deal.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, like I'll work that Sunday, but can you pick this Monday up?
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna have to go find somebody to like cover that Monday for me, and then in turn I'm gonna have to work some other shift for them to cover that Monday.
Yeah.
So it just turns into this thing like,
Yeah, you got to go like fucking 17 transactions down before you're like finally square. Yeah.
and it just, to put it on that, it's a $1,000 swing, and then it's 8 shifts
Yeah.
of irregularity before I get my normal schedule back.
Yeah.
And it's almost just not even worth it.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be something good. And circling back to like the thing, like that friend that can't hang out with you because they have moral responsibilities and like you just don't rank high enough to like take care of it. That's the friend that you should want to keep around.
Yeah.
Even if you don't see him you see him once every 5 years, like they're the ones that are going to look out for you. They're the ones that are going to listen when you call. You know what I mean? Like you're dead in a ditch somewhere, they're going to come find you. Like that's a good guy to have around. Just because you're not seeing them all the time and they're not putting their family on hold to hang out with you, like there's no reason for you to get feel some type of way about it. Yeah. It's like we're 40, grow up.
Well, yeah, I well for sure. Now that we're 40, like I have no patience for that shit. Where it's just like, hey man, then just if you're fucking upset that I can't hang out with you, like that's on you. I don't give a fuck, you know. But I mean, even when you're in your 20s, though, when you feel like you're missing out on shit, it's like, I don't know. That was always the shitty part about working in your 20s, where you're just kind of like, I feel like I'm missing all these like fun things that everyone else is doing on Friday and Saturday, in all in service of the grind, And you say like, oh, well, I want to set up something where like Monday through Friday I'm working. I want to be able to have Saturday and Sunday off. That's cool sometimes, but other times, like Saturday's the fucking busiest night of the week, and usually you make the most amount of money on those shifts, So it's like, do I really want to take Saturday off? Because if I take Saturday off, then I have to pick up 2 shifts almost somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm going to be working 5 days a week, I'd rather have one of those be Saturday, because otherwise my ass is working 6 days a week, and my only day off is Saturday.
Yeah, or you found like a rare rose where you got a solid lunch shift somewhere, or something like that. Because the situation that I'm in, it's almost like my weekend shifts are, I don't want to call them a wash, but it's not like they're not like outliers on the graph of me plotting what I'm making.
Yeah.
Like I'm still making, within probably 25% of what I normally make on any given night. And to work Friday and Saturday to quarterback that ship, to put all those fires out, to most of the time be the most skilled part of the labor force, making equal money to somebody who's not as invested, not as skilled. You didn't get to pick them out. It's almost like a headache.
Yeah.
Like
I could definitely say that.
Yeah,
I'm bitching and I make probably like 20%, probably 20 to 30% more on Saturday than I do on a Tuesday, and I'm still bitching. So if I was making the fucking same or less, I'd be like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Because
it just comes with inherently like now they're gonna put a second bartender on when you could have just did it with a bartender
by yourself and a bar back.
Yeah. Like every other day of the week you operate like that, but then on Friday and Saturday it's like you're not doing double the volume.
Right.
Maybe you're adding another
40%,
25, 30% maybe.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not enough to
warrant it.
Add the second bartender on, and then now and to tip out the bar back. You know what I mean? Like the situation that we work, it's essentially like every dollar that comes across the bar, I'm only getting 40 cents of that.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. It just doesn't like the weekends to me. It's just like
Doesn't jive.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just not the volume isn't there to like make the shift double as worth it.
Yeah.
You know.
So
And-
really, what you need is an ultra trained bar back as opposed to just a regular bar back and a fucking another bartender.
yeah, but that's if you let the bartenders drive the ship. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? There's always going to be ownership and management telling you,
Yeah.
you know, we don't know about that. So
At the same time, though, that's ownership and management's problem.
Yeah.
Like I would just be like, this is what needs to happen for me to continue doing this.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, I don't know how many lost episodes we have now at this point, but it's come up before that. Like,
Spoiler alert, guys, we're not very good at this.
no, we're pretty good.
We've gotten better.
We got a good batting average if you break it down. Like
yeah,
that.
for sure. Well, we got Hall of Fame
We're
numbers.
way over.
Yeah, we're like
way over 333.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're like 400. You know.
Yeah, but what I was saying though is like I've kind of I don't know. You make like I'll phrase it to you like this: Would you're working that Saturday anyway? It
Yeah.
is what it is. It's probably overstaffed. You're not making as much as you think you should have. How much of a role of the people that you're surrounded with? How much does that play in your happiness with the shift?
Oh. If
Like
I'm not
this-
making money and I'm surrounded by a bunch of fucking jabronis.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm kind of finding the silver lining in this to where it's like I'm not making the money that I feel like I should be making,
Yeah.
but I'm willing to take that L because of who I'm working with.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that's more important to me to not be because there was a while on these Saturday shifts where it was just like me and like the newest person, and I'd have to train them up on the fly. And
Yeah.
you know what? I
So,
wasn't the one.
in
I
addition
wasn't
to
the
not
one
making
vetting
money.
these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're shit bumming it away, being idiots, and it got to the point where it was frustrating. It was extremely frustrating for me. And now essentially the ship has kind of settled to where it's like, all right, like you get to work with your favorite bar back, and we're gonna elevate your brother to be the other bartender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, to your point, like you never get to see your brother, and now I'm getting like the
Yeah.
best of both worlds. So it's like I get to work with my brother, and you know he's kind of come up under me. He's my kid brother. He's 9 years younger than me. I kind of taught him how to bartend, if you will, during quarantine. We had a little, drink service thing going on. He was my right-hand man for that. He kind of learned the program and the ratios and everything based off of that. He started being my underling when we came back from quarantine. And then eventually, like, I took other opportunities and I kind of just left him posted up at one of the spots that we were working with together.
Yeah.
And over that time, he's developed himself into, like, you know, I hear him talking to the guests now about stuff, and I'm like, nice. Like, you know, like, is he that motivated killer, like putting fires out before they even happen? No, but he hasn't got frustrated enough with the business to where somebody asking him for a gin and tonic just doesn't ruin his whole night.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Right.
he's still happy to ask those follow-up questions. He's still, I don't know, the world just hasn't shit on him enough for him to realize that this is a losing battle.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's a single dude too. So I'm sure he's out there trying to make connections and stuff too. And it's just it's a perfect like co-balance to where I can just be like somebody's asking me stupid questions, I'm gonna be like, let me introduce you to this guy, Jesse. You know what I mean?
He has all the patience in the world for this shit.
I have to bang out 1,700 drinks right now for service bar, and I don't have time to like interact with with your schmuck.
Right.
So
yeah. I'm not here to fucking go down the list of gins we
Yeah.
have and tell you which one's the most floral.
And like
go fuck yourself.
I say all that to say it's like, all right, like has this been totally completely like idealized yet? No, it hasn't. But the people that I'm working with, like, it makes it to where I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm with people that I like, that I
Yeah.
enjoy being around. And it's like, I'm done bitching about Saturdays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, could I find another job where I make more money? I bet you I could at the drop of a dime. But because they've chosen to put me hanging out with people that I like, I'm not, like, Saturdays are locked in. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
looking for, I'm not looking to get those night shifts covered at all. You know what I mean? Like, that's a core part of my schedule where everything else, like, I'll move around
Yeah.
if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
So,
I think I think there's definitely a threshold though. Like you kind of have to hit a bar of how much money I'm making. Otherwise, I don't give a shit if you have me hanging out with, the fucking, don't give a shit if you have me hanging out with Slash from Guns N' Roses. Like, this shit ain't worth it. Like,
Yeah.
I need to make a certain amount of money. And I mean, sure, is there a pocket where I'm willing to make less to hang out with, quote unquote, my friends or people I enjoy? Yeah, but at the same time, I like making even more and then hanging out with the real people I want to hang out with, which is my family and my kids, So
I mean, what's more? I mean, let's throw it out there. We're basically in the business of saying like we're trying to make $500 when we go to work,
Yeah.
right? So
at least, yeah.
At least, right? So say you made 500,
Yeah.
but you worked with people that drove you crazy the whole night.
Yeah.
Would making 600 take away your frustrations of working in that environment?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like that marginal of a difference, I would
really,
rather work with people I like.
That's
but,
like
but if the difference is
20 to 25% of 500, right?
Yeah,
like
but even
$125 is 25% of 500, right?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Maybe that would be enough. You know what it is too is I don't, outside of Diane, I don't like any of the other ones I work with,
Yeah.
So to me, it's just one of those things where, and I'm lucky enough where though Diane is like my killer on Fridays and Saturdays. So if it wasn't for that, fuck, man. Yeah, actually, maybe you're right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like
yeah, I don't know if there's even a price I would pay to have Diane like over someone else.
I'll phrase it in another way. Like if somebody was like, okay, like we're gonna switch Saturdays up, but we're going to give you $100 on the side.
Yeah.
To rewrite the schedule how we want to do it, I'd be like, I don't like that deal.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Like even the $400 extra a month to make me work with somebody that's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Diane has to.
I don't want to do it.
Diane literally has to tell me like months in advance when she's taking weekends off, so that way I can like mentally prepare myself to be stuck with somebody else. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, and it's more, more along the lines of, I think when you're taking job interviews and stuff like this, like those are the questions that you should be asking. Like, am I paired up with somebody on so and so shifts? Like,
yeah.
Get all those.
And you should 100%, if you're going into a place to train, you should be training with that person who like is supposedly going to be the person that you're pairing with.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, like if I don't vibe with somebody, I'm willing to pull the ripcord like right then and there.
Yeah.
Like I've literally walked out of places like within an hour, just being like, this ain't gonna work. Like I'm all set. Thanks though.
Yeah.
Like if you're not a functioning normal human being, I don't want to deal with you.
I mean, I don't know. I just need people to be like on my level when it comes to like, I don't know how to explain it.
There's no explaining it. And you know what? There's no one that's ever going to be on your level. You just need to figure out like what it is about that person that you can, maximize whatever they're doing, maximize whatever you're doing, and then come together as a cohesive unit, Like to me, it always comes down to bring something to the table, Let me find something in you where I can just be like, all right, I can be that and to your that, and then we can just come together and we can make that work,
Yeah, but if this person is like refusing to like participate in like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like you guys still have a mat on top of the dish machine. You take like all the stuff and put it on top of the dish machine. Like what if some person was like, they're like unloading the dish machine onto like some other thing. And you're just like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like we've been doing it like this for this whole thing, or like we made this adjustment and you're still doing it like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking about like I said, I'm trying to find like a word for it. It's like people who want to flourish in the same environment.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to.
But even then, though, in a situation like that, then I would just be the guy who's in charge of dishes. It's like, all right, that's my, that would be my job now. Now you figure out some other way of freeing up that time to do something that makes me money, Now, if you're just going to be sitting there drooling on yourself, not talking to anybody, and you're a busted fucking individual who literally has no charisma whatsoever, and you're not doing the fucking dishes, it's like, bro, you got to fucking do something here, pal.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't a fucking free ride.
Yeah.
I'm not here to fucking carry your ass up the mountain. Like, I'm not your fucking bartending Sherpa, Like, get your own shit up the mountain.
That's essentially what I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to be surrounded by people who I'm Sherpaing for.
But I can do that if that is my only thing. I'm not going to do that and then be the face of the franchise, Don't make me be the fucking utility man coming off the bench, like doing like the jack of all trades guy, and have me be like the fucking guy who has to
number
be the star.
one in jersey sales.
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
Like, it's one or the other, man. Don't make me fucking do everything. Yeah.
How about I tried upgrading my life and living my life as Brennan would this weekend,
Uh-oh.
where I feel like I've realized that I can't continue living my life as frustrated as I am with this shit. And it's like, you're gonna get that old fashioned that I make. I'm not asking you anymore.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that Manhattan that I make. I'm not asking you any questions anymore. Like, this is how it comes. If you don't like it, you should have been more prepared when you asked me for it the first time. It's still $18.
Yeah.
So either pay it or get the fuck out. But now I'm on this kick now of, yes, and I'm waiting on all these idiot college kids that don't know nothing about anything. And then I pivot to like two 35, 40-year-old guys, and these are the idiots that say I'll have a gin and tonic.
What's your beef with gin and tonic?
I say, I'm assuming you want the well gin.
Yeah.
And he goes, no. And I go, well, tell me what you want.
Yeah.
It's loud as fuck. It's busy. Like,
Yeah.
why are we having this meaningless exchange? Like, what fucking bottle do you buy from the liquor store and keep at your house?
Yeah.
Say that out loud.
Or just
stop ordering a fucking gin and tonic from me.
Yeah.
Like, say the name of the spirit that you want. Stop ordering a dirty martini and making me ask you vodka or gin. And then you say vodka instead of like saying fucking Grey Goose or like. I can't. Like, this is the biggest frustration to me on the one place that I work, that I just continues to happen to me. Like, I just thought it was idiot college kids.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's like the place. It's like the place is cursed for people failing to mention name brand alcohol when they're ordering fucking drinks.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand.
Especially at your spot too, where it's like, we have it's all behind me, man. Just use your fucking
like it's
eyes.
on display on a fucking LED inlaid 5-step beautiful fucking woodworked.
Yeah, and I mean
it's
the
there
lighting
for you.
The lighting on that shit, you could see it from fucking space.
It's the brightest thing in the room.
Yeah.
Like, so I can't anymore. Like, stop fucking doing that.
Yeah.
Stop fucking doing that. Just knock it off.
We have I don't know. He probably. I bet you he frequents both of these places. Do you have a kid who ever comes in with like a disgusting rat tail? Like he's like a hipstery sort of like he's got to be a Brown student. He just has to be Brown University student.
Yeah,
That burned me last time. Brown University student.
This brown guy with a rat tail.
No, but anyway, this fucking guy, dude, he's like one of these dudes. He like pulls out these archaic fucking drinks from like, fucking the 1920s, and it's like, can you make that? It's like, you've never had a Harvey Wallbanger in your fucking life. What are you even asking me for right now? What bar even has Galliano anymore? Like,
that's a valid point.
Well, it's just like, dude, stop. I understand that you fucking Googled relentlessly like cool, interesting drinks to order at bars before you got here, but like, don't make that my problem, Fucking you. No, I won't make you a fucking Harvey Wallbanger, you fucking loser,
Do you know about like all the different variants of a Harvey Wallbanger?
No, because it's a drink I haven't made in probably 20 fucking years.
Yeah, but you know how I don't think anybody's ever asked me to make them that drink, but I know about that drink from working unlimited amount of lunch shifts and just reading that oblong bartender book that had like all the recipes in it from back in the day. I would just read that and like try to find cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the Harvey Wallbanger. I never knew what Galliano was, but we had it at the spot that I worked at. It was this big. It was like the giant bottle that they had.
The one they probably bought in like 1989 and it was still sitting there in 2004.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But there's like a slow, comfortable screw against the wall.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There's all these different variants of them. And like I said, like, I don't know how this person that you're talking about, I don't know how they came across that other than finding that oblong book.
That's what I'm saying. In the dawn of Google now, like everybody just like goes in like thinking like, I'm going to find something that's going to make me separate me from the pack. It's like, you're not interesting. You know how I know? You have a fucking rat tail. That's how I know you're not interesting.
You know how I feel? I feel like if you made a Venn diagram and you put rat tail in there, if you're trying to find something else interesting to fill it out, it's like enjoys the flavor profile of Galliano, Sambuca, and black licorice.
The wild thing about this rat tail, man, is I don't even know where the fuck it connects to his head. Like, it's like a fucking, he looks like a Jedi wizard or some shit. Like, the shit is like wound around his ear and like wraps down here. It's like somehow on the other side of his fucking head too. It's like, where is this thing coming from?
Dude.
Like, what is this thing on your head?
I have a sick picture to show you about a rat tail.
Yeah.
And I've sent it to my barber before and told him
Like,
that
this
I
is
wanna
exactly
get it.
what I want.
Yeah. It's a rat tail, but the sides of the man's head have been shaved into an iguana.
Okay. Rat tail iguana. That's what we're going with. Haircut. All right. Oh shit. That's
Like,
actually pretty
That's
fucking
an
cool.
awesome fucking haircut.
That's
dude. Like,
yeah. I'd be on board with that.
the worst part about it is the rat tail. Like, if you got the rat,
yeah, but you can't get it without the rat tail.
Yeah,
the
but
rat
if
tail
you-
makes it.
if you could do something in the front, you know what I mean? If you combed your hair down, it looked like the head of the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you really need it, but I don't know about that rat tail.
Well, you know what, that rat
That's a
tail
tough-
that rat tail's a little too sheen. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's a little too wet. I don't know what the hell that's about.
Wow.
That
That
ain't good. That ain't good either.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
This is the best one.
Yeah, that's
that
not
one's
bad.
fire.
Yeah.
That almost looks like a monkey. I like
yeah,
that one better.
I could see that. Yeah,
All right.
no, that's not good. This seems like I guess this is a very white trash niche.
I mean,
that
this
you
man.
found.
This man
Yeah.
also. If you zoom in,
Yeah,
why has he got that orange shirt on? Like that,
yeah,
this is a mug shot.
yeah, for sure. Turn to the side, please. Well, anyway,
Yeah. So how about That's what all the talk of haircuts brings back like some PTSD of the spot that we used to work at together, and they'd always be giving me shit about my beard. Like every now and then they'd like call me in the office and be like, "All right, you got to trim that thing down." Supposedly it came from the very top.
Yeah,
you know
okay,
what I mean.
gotcha.
And then they'd always be telling me about this, but basically it's like, I feel like that's on the same level of like telling a girl that you don't like how she's doing her makeup.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, how can you ride that, especially with no like employee handbook presented to you?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, this is a free for all. Like, you're just literally choosing to zero one person out because of one thing that they're doing that you don't like, but
Yeah.
similar things on level playing fields are all no problem.
right.
You know? So I don't know. That always drove me nuts about that.
I mean, I'll be the first one to admit that my beard is a beard in quotation marks. It's like a beard in name only. When my shit grows out, I straight up look like a fucking homeless person. So like that's, if they were ever to pull me aside, I could understand it. They'd be like, you gotta clean that shit up. I'd be like, I know, man. Like I look like I've been on a bender. But yeah, like I don't think anyone's ever mentioned anything to me ever. And there've been a few times where I was like, Jesus, man, I'm pushing the envelope right now. Like I
Yeah.
straight up look grizzly, Yeah, that's fucking. You know what though? I feel like anytime they ever say, like, oh, this comes up from higher up, it's like, no, it doesn't. This is you saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's fun.
yeah.
Yo,
I find
really
it
was gonna come
very
back
hard to
that, yeah.
believe that like anyone in that pay grade gives one fuck how thick my beard is. You
No,
know?
I can't believe it though, because it's a very high functioning tistic
Yeah, well, that's
person in charge.
it's.
I remember one time I saw this person that we're talking about, and it was like after I had like revolutionized everything. You know what I mean? First time I see him in years, we walk right in, and they say, "We just can't get you to quit, can we?"
Yeah,
I was like, "What? What?"
it's like, well,
I was like, "You are a wild boy, bro. I'll burn this motherfucker down right in front of you right now."
in that moment where you like challenge accepted.
No, it was like at that moment where I like accepted that there was no love ever going to be reciprocated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as much love as I ever had for that place, they were never going to love me back.
Oh yeah,
As I should have been. So, or not as I should, as I think I deserve to be loved. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I tell that to people all the time: is that this business is never going to love you.
Nope.
Like, there's never a point in time where you feel like you're getting the love or getting the fucking respect you deserve. Like, it's just never going to happen. And if you're looking for validation from the place you work, and that goes in all industries of life. If that's where you're expecting to get validation from, you're looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You are a number, no matter where you go.
I completely agree.
Which, whatever. I don't think anyone should be sucking my dick because I can make a rum and coke. But at the same time, like, just don't break my fucking balls over the length of my beard.
Over silly
You know?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just it's a business of putting out fires.
Yeah.
So like if you're efficient and you're not a problem child, it's like you're never going to get any like
Yeah.
you're not going to get any considerations because you're not causing any problems.
Yeah, it's a squeaky wheel.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Squeaky wheel gets the oil. I know that's an old saying, but that's how it works, you know. But at the same time, nobody fucks with me usually. I mean, that's all the consideration I want is I want to just be left alone. It's
Yeah.
like, let me do what I do. All
Yeah.
right. I'm good enough at it where I shouldn't need your help or really much support at all in doing it. So I'm going to do you the favor of not being a problem. Do me a favor of not being my problem.
Yeah.
You know?
like I'm fixing things for you without the guidance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like go guide.
Yeah.
Go guide the others.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I'm
like,
not getting paid enough to fucking be a coach.
Yeah.
You get paid to be the coach.
Yeah.
Go coach up the people that need it.
Well, they don't get paid enough to be the coach, but that's a whole other issue.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a pickle of a gig.
Management.
Especially like being a restaurant manager at a high end place where
yeah.
you just watch the servers
Everybody
and the
make
bartenders make
3
great-
times more money than you do. Yeah.
and you're one of the few people that's probably in the building more than they are.
Me?
No,
Personally,
like,
or just
like
in
that?
yeah.
Like a general manager of a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
You're probably logging more, if not the same amount of hours that like your anchor or core server bartenders are.
Oh, I
you're
mean,
5-day-a-week guys. Like,
Yeah. Our GM is literally always there. Like
Yeah.
she is killing herself at that place. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of, you know, you got like GMs that are pretty lazy schlebs of human beings who, like, when they are logging hours are not doing very much during those times. But yeah, I mean, our GM works her fucking ass off, and she, yeah, I don't know. That place is just gonna literally just drill her into the ground.
yeah. Like I don't think I've ever. All I've ever seen is like people come in and slowly get like frustrated and then turn that into like resentment.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah,
it's just like it's like an unhealthy thing. Like
Yeah.
everybody, like eventually, all of the people that you work for are just conditioned to like turn against you.
Yeah.
And you're like, look, we're similar ages. I didn't tell you to like put the suit on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't be hating on me because I'm still willing to go through the physical sacrifice, I don't know what else you want to call it, like the later schedule. Like those managers might be there more hours than you, but they're probably not closing. Like
Yeah.
they're getting out early enough to like go do something with their.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, she, you know, like our manager, you know, first of all, she's there at fucking like 9 a.m. And then second of all, she usually doesn't leave till like 8. And sometimes she does close. So it's like, yeah, she's probably putting in 55
Yeah.
plus easy. But like you said, you know, it's not like I didn't tell her to do that. You know, at Hyde Cabbage, like, was my best friend growing up. And he was the guy that the whole time through that whole period, I was just like, dude, you're better off not doing this. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, but it's hard, especially if you're a very A-type personality, which he is, and you have to have things a certain way that you like them, and you want to be in a position where you can make other people kind of like form to your vision of what needs to happen. The only way to do that is to become a manager, and if that means more to you than the financial compensation, then so be it. But that is what it is, you know? I've never been in that situation. Every restaurant job I've ever had or ever will have, it will just involve me being like, I'm here to do this job. If you would like that to be done in a different way, I don't give a fuck. I'll do it a different way.
Yeah.
I'll do it with fucking nipple tassels on and assless chaps. I don't give one fuck, man. If I'm making money, then that's fine with me. Like, I'm not here to tell you how to do or operate at all. Like, but that's because I don't, at the end of the day, actually give a shit. Like, it just doesn't bother me at all. I will fit. I'm water, man. I'll fit in the vessel of whatever you fucking put me in. You
Yeah.
know? Some people aren't built like that. So you're kind of like that too. Like,
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like Ryan was like one of the best bosses that I ever had.
yeah.
Like I think he was.
I'm
like,
not
I
taking-
would put him in like top 2, but it's just because him and I have like a similar
Yeah.
mindset. You know, and I feel like we went to the same school of restaurateuring.
Yeah.
And
God, I
Like-
hope it didn't come across that I don't think he's good at his job. He's fucking awesome at his job.
Yeah, it's just like, why are
always
you
told him,
killing
like, why
yourself
are you
being a
doing
manager?
it?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, for me, it always came down to the financial compensation. It's like, this is a job, man. Like, if you want to make it into a career, you can try making it into a career, but it ain't a career. Like it's a job, and you have to work it like a job. You have to go into it just like, I'm trying to make money and I'm here to leave. Those are the two things that are on my list of things to do every day. You know? So it's just not, there's no financial compensation that's good enough for me to become a manager. Unless like something were to drastically change in the restaurant business.
I just think there's some like, I don't know what it is. Like some people have like this, like, it's almost like they have like an aversion to like gambling almost. Like they're unwilling to risk the potential ebbs and flows of there's like they're more comfortable knowing they're going to get this chunk of money.
Yeah.
I know it's budgeted. I know you know what I mean? Like it's more like, I don't know. To me, it's never been like I'm more willing to risk the gamble to make more money than to just bring in like a steady paycheck.
See, to me,
especially if all things are the same, you're stuck in a restaurant doing restaurant stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I've always been like, all right, I'll bet that I can bring in more money than
what's on this paycheck. Yeah. I think to me, I've only ever encountered two different kinds of managers. I mean, really, for the most part, if you boil it down to its like simplest form, the manager who wants to control everything, or is very like, this is the way I want it done, and this is the way I expect it done, and therefore I'm going to get myself in a position to make other people do it that way, or the person who is basically a glorified host and just like is like, it means more to me to be like seen as a manager of a restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like there are people out there who just kind of say to themselves like, well, if I wear a suit to work every day, that means I must have a job, right? And it's like, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
That way you could say to your friends like, oh, I'm the manager of that restaurant, as opposed to a bartender or server, when in actuality it's like, well, if your friends knew what they were talking about, they would realize like, oh, gotcha. So
you're the dumbest of everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, perfect. So you don't have any idea how any of this works, and you actually are doing it.
That's like, the dude that Zach used to dunk on in the kitchen all the time? He was a manager.
What, the heavier guy? Yeah.
Like that's that.
Oh, exactly.
Right there.
That's him. Precisely. Yeah.
Like got sick and tired of like telling his friends and family that he was just
a bartender. Yep. Yeah, and I mean, fuck, I'll tell people all day long that I'm just a bartender. My just a bartender ass is about to put a $300,000 addition on his house, so my just a bartender ass is doing just fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and like I mean, talking of like the like the manager thing, like I became friends with Ryan because I vibed with. He was a hard worker.
Yeah,
like, that's how
he works his ass off.
That's how you become my friend in adult life. Like I'm like, oh, like you get shit done. I like you. You know, and I always took it at I would always just tell him the same thing. Like, dude, I don't understand why you don't want to be a waiter. Obviously, you're like, he was managing me at one of the best spots to work at in the city.
Yeah,
and you can't just step down from being the GM to be a server,
right?
But. Yeah. To me, he was always kind of like investing in his future.
Right.
Like I'm going to do this and then I'm going to get a rate. And that's what he did. He took positions elsewhere and, started building that resume up and what would you call it? Like stacking that salary up to a higher base level, if you will, So I was always like, all right, like that's the mission.
Yeah.
But I think that's a gamble because it's like,
I don't even think it's a gamble. I think it's a losing game. But go on. Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like what the golden goose that you're trying to find of like a place, an ownership that's going to treat you the right way, and everything else from down there with the paycheck and the hours and everything else that you want. I think that's a rarer rose to find than
way rare
than finding a shift somewhere where you can walk in and make $500 every time.
Yeah. Again, I mean, even then, you're the culmination of all of your dreams are working for a restaurant group or something where now, okay, fine, you got this job as the whatever regional manager, call it, like the guy who isn't just the GM of one spot, he's the GM, regional of like 4 or 5 different spots and is able to make a fat fat salary and make up his own hours, not be a slave to the Friday and Saturday night gig. That's cool. You worked your whole life to do that. You know what's going to happen though? The person who owns the business is going to sell it to a corporation who's going to look at you and say, all right, well, you're a 48-year-old regional manager who I can now just fire because we don't need to be paying you $115,000 a year to do this job.
We already got another guy.
We already have we have a whole fucking stable of idiots who are getting paid $79 to do it.
Yeah.
So Bye. That's the only thing that happens in the restaurant business is the higher you climb, the higher likelihood you get fired.
Yeah.
That's it. Whereas if you just stayed as a bartender, you'd probably be making that salary the entire time. And on top of that, even if you got fired or you got, whatever, you could just be like, all right, fuck it, I'll find a job in an hour, man. Like,
Yeah.
and in all likelihood, unless you do something epically stupid, you don't get fired. How many fucking people have you actually seen get fired for doing something other than like, something that was just like, oh, yeah, you're definitely getting fired for that shit, Like, I've never, I don't know if I've ever actually been with a bartender who got fired just because they weren't very good at their job. Or no, one bartender. And actually, I didn't even work with them. I was actually the one coming in to replace them. That was it. Like, they were just kind of like, she's not really working out. And they were like, all right, well, I'll work out.
Yeah.
But
honestly, like the last, like, I'm like going down the Rolodex in my head, like the I don't know, like the last 3 or 4 people that like management ownership has been like, they're not working out. I've been like, I feel like you're placing the blame on them when it's really this other person.
Oh, yeah, could be that too.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're like, oh, this person's like not really, it's not working out. But like, dude, I don't think you're seeing.
You ain't seen the whole picture.
I don't think you're smelling the roses here, bro. So.
Well, yeah, and once you get your claws in a spot, though, that's just it. It's impossible to get rid of you.
Like I remember one time this girl, it was like some big allergy concern. It was like the difference between like a crab dip and like a loaded mashed potato. Like they both came in like a casserole dish. And I don't know, the girl took the wrong thing and they ate it. There's this big problem with the seafood allergy or something. Yeah. And she didn't even get fired for that.
We had somebody light someone on fire. We had someone light someone on fire. They didn't get fired.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be a baseline. You should be like, oh, this person, you know what? If you're not going to do anything tonight, just don't light someone on fire. That's it. Couldn't even handle that.
No, I know another dude that served a Long Island iced tea to a kid thinking that it was an iced tea.
Oh, shit. And so, like, how old was the kid?
5.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Like.
Oh, shit.
And I remember, like, I saw that this dude was a fucking bum, too.
Clearly.
He's a bum. Nah, he's a bum in like, his real life. Like, he had, like, his grandfather, like, opened up a barbershop for him because that was, like, his passion. Yeah. And he just, from being a fuck-up, like, fucked it all
up.
Yeah, and now you're, like, back. Now I will talk shit. Like, now you're just, like, a fucking server at fucking... You know what I mean? Like, you had the world by the balls, and now you're just a server. Yeah.
Now we're just a serving people?
Yeah. Yeah, when you had... Yeah. You fucked that up. I'm sorry. Like, I will say it like that. So... Anyway, I see this bum fucking feeling all sorry for himself drinking at the bar at Hot Club after it happened. I'm gonna... Didn't even fucking get fired for that. You know what I mean? Like, it is tough. Like, you have to, like, unless it's like one of them shits where, like, you don't ID somebody.
Even then, I've seen people get, like, get the talking to.
I got for that.
Yeah. Like... Yeah, but even then, I bet you that was just like the last thing that they were just like, well, yeah, this will be the thing we can get out of.
You want to know what it was?
What?
I had the ultimate scheme, going, bro. I worked at I don't give a fuck. I worked at Bar Louie, right?
Yeah.
And
the one right there in downtown?
Yeah. In Water Place Park.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of moving up the system to kind of be like the junior manager, if you will. Never my intention to do it. They put me through this thing called Bar Smarts, which was like this online bar education program, which was beneficial to me. I'll say thank you for that big time. Then I started being like a new store opener for them. Then I went and traveled and did like a new store open.
Yeah.
And so then I came back from that and they're like, all right, so you're gonna close on Sunday and Monday. So I would be the nighttime bartender, and then like the manager would go home at like 7 or 8 o'clock, and then like I'm the guy watching over everything. There's no cameras in this place, and the guy who's the chef, he likes to drink. So I developed this scheme. This is in my heyday of having like the industry on lockdown because I worked in the Providence Place Mall and I worked at Uno's. We had the kitchen that was open the latest. So like all the other restaurants came down to Uno's. We closed up shop and then we like went out to Murphy's together. You know what I mean? Like we'd have like 30 people all in like a big top at Murphy's. Like it was awesome. It was the best like service industry scene I've ever been a part of. So all these guys are all like my regulars and stuff. I started working at Bar Louie. They're all coming to see me. Bar Louie had like a 40-person bar. I'm working it by myself on Sunday and Monday. I cook up the scheme. Yo, I'm going to start bringing my own alcohol in this bitch. Right? So I had multiple jobs and stuff, so I'd always be coming in with my backpack, right?
Yeah.
So I now cook up the scheme. I get I buy a handle of Jack, I buy a handle of Tito's, I buy a liter of Jack, and I buy a liter of Tito's. And I got these 4 bottles in my backpack when I go in every day. So now once management leaves, I pull the actual bottles from the bar, put them away.
Yeah.
And I put my shit back out there. And then I put the handles in like this little area that I could like refill the bottles without anybody seeing me, like a dead zone in the bar. You know what I mean? So now I got like 30, 40 people coming to see me for, we called it Absolute Appreciation, AA.
Yeah.
And I would always just write AA as like my little Facebook status, letting people know. And it was basically like, give me 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever it is, drink your fucking ass off, bro.
Yeah.
Like bottomless drinks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you had to buy like you had to buy an appetizer and like a soda or something.
Right, just so you could at least like show that you had a tab going.
Yeah, so you had a tab going. Oh, I didn't put the drink on yet, whatever. You know what I mean? But nobody was hot to it. And then the chef, I just started being like, yo, like, here's what, me and him were cool, like not like that, but I just figured, like break him off on it. He won't say anything, and he really didn't say shit. And I had that going, dude. I was making like $1,000 back-to-back nights between like Sunday and Monday, and I was still having like decent sales because it made Bar Louie look like it was the place to be.
Yeah,
like you'd walk around as a tourist and be like, "Why is this place fucking pop?" So bartender's got a bottomless drink special going on, and so I had that going on for a while, and then I had befriended this girl that I worked with, Kelly, you rat. And she like dated one of the managers or something. And she was complaining about not making any money. She worked at the Foxborough location, so it was like charity work for her to come work at the Providence one.
Right.
And I was like, yo, why don't you just do this? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And within like 2 weeks, like now the other girl that I'm friends with there, she was friends with the manager. And she's like, yo, like Maggie wants you to go outside and talk to her. Like, I feel like you can save your job. You just got to like kind of kiss ass, blah, blah, blah. And at this point, I'm like the Teflon Don. I'm like, you don't got shit on me. There's no cameras. You know what I mean? Like, it's
her word against mine.
It's hearsay. Like, catch me. You know what I mean? And now it kind of started becoming this thing. Like, I was getting fired up for them to try to catch me. Like, you know, I thought my goose was cooked, but I'm like, I'm gonna maximize the rest of the money that I can.
Yeah.
And eventually, that's what I think happened. Like, they sent in the make sure you're IDing these people. And this fucking kid, the kid that they sent in, he had like the same Yankees hat and the same hoodie as like a regular of mine.
Yeah.
And I saw him like coming around the bar and I didn't see his face. I thought it was my guy. So I crack a Heineken and I fucking give it to him. What the guy thought he was always drinks. I put the beer down in front of him. He's like, I need to see your manager right now. And like, I was the manager.
Yeah.
Because it was like a Sunday, Monday. So now I had to be like, I am the fucking manager. Like, what do you want me to do about this? So I had to like call the GM that like had it out for me. And come to find out years later, she was actually the GM at your spot, like way back in the day.
Oh, what? Which one?
At the place we worked at together.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
So
okay.
like, typical
It's
like
all
Rhode
circular.
Island shit. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's how, I definitely feel like they were like sending those guys in me to make sure that I get ID'd. And it just so happened that it looked like another regular of mine.
Right.
And it's like, so you didn't even really get me.
Yeah.
Like, I got me.
I was going to say, like, to fall for one of those ABC things, usually, you have to be, like, you have to just not be paying attention.
Yeah, it's like a 12-year-old asking you for a Budweiser.
Yeah, it's like, every single time it's a Bud Light, and every time it's a kid that's just like, you straight up look like you are a middle schooler, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That was a bold plan, though.
It all made me stronger, bro.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that I hadn't thought of that like before. Like it's always been in the back of my head. Like, what's stopping me from doing that? I guess nothing's stopping me from doing that.
Oh, you need a strong hospitality, regular clientele to pull it off.
Yeah, and you also need to not tell somebody else about it. That was a mistake.
That was a mistake. Because I don't know what I got. I feel like that might have been. Yeah, like I lose that gig, and then like my relationship falls apart shortly after that. You know what I mean? So it did start kind of like a downward spiral because it did destabilize my life. Where I was making all this cheese, and now all of a sudden you pulled the rug out from underneath me. And it wasn't like I was putting all this money in like Roth IRAs. You know where I was putting all this money?
Up your nose?
Nope. putting it up on these
Oh,
shelves,
shoes?
motherfucker. Like most of these J's came from
Bar
fucking scamming Bar Louie, bro. Like any of them that came out between like 2010 and like 2000. How long did I work? Maybe 2 years. So between 10 and 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't see the Patriots lose to the Giants the first time there, but I did have to watch them lose to the Giants the second game working that shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once they lost, they cut me. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm gonna fucking go jump off a bridge right now.
Damn.
You should
Some
keep
dark
me here.
days.
Yeah. And I went to Murphy's, because that was like my watering hole. I would always go there. It was just full of nothing but Giants fans talking shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a miserable day for myself. Just a complete day of misery.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out pretty well for the Patriots in the long run, though.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think about especially that 07 season. Like,
The perfect season.
would you trade any of the other Super Bowls that you had won after that for them? Because you got to think that, like, losing to the Giants twice makes this rage burn inside Tommy that just never ends.
Well, I mean, the perfect,
if you don't lose
the perfect season, you go from being the greatest football team ever assembled to being like a footnote in history. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if I were a Pats fan, I probably would have traded. I would have probably traded the Panthers one because nobody gives a shit about the Panthers.
You can only trade future ones. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So like, you're going to trade 28-3 comeback?
No.
You're going to trade Malcolm Butler's pick?
No.
Right? And then you're going to trade
the
Rams one, the other Rams one?
Yeah. I'd trade the Rams one.
I would trade in the other Eagles one.
Yeah, the McNabb one.
No,
or no, the
one that we lost. I'll trade that one all day.
Yeah. I don't know. Like fucking the Pats, fucking they I'm just tired of it already with like Pat fans already talking shit and like being all down on their team and like talking to me like they know something about hurt, and it's like you don't know fucking shit.
You don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I was talking to my man San Diego, and he goes, I just can't believe that it's going to be like another 30 years before the Patriots are relevant again.
It might not even be 30 years.
I was texting him, and I was about to be like, or until the Crafts sell the team. And then he texted it back, and I go, damn, my boy's down bad. My boy's down bad.
Unbelievable. If an ownership group ever won Detroit a Super Bowl, I would literally have all of my kids. Every single one of my kids would have been named Ford. Ford Long. I would drive nothing but Fords.
Every time we see a Dodge, we key it.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. Ungrateful fucks, the whole lot of you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know what one of my favorite memories is from leaving Foxborough one time? Like, where...
Any one of the millions of playoff wins you had there?
It's not even a good memory. Like, it's Renee and I are leaving. We're in I'm in a Patriots jersey at least, right?
Yeah.
We're driving her car with Rhode Island license plates on it. We're in the parking lot of the New England Patriots, and there's these other guys in Patriots jerseys, and they're going, hey, Providence is that way.
Yeah.
And we're like, yo, what did you watch The Departed too many times, bro? You think we're selling cannolis down here? Like, we're on your team, bro. And like nothing will demonstrate the dirtbag that humanity is more than like a sporting event like that.
Oh yeah.
You're all there to cheer on the same team. As soon as the game ends, you turn into animals, cutting people, trying to get back to the parking lot, not letting anybody out, just trying to do what's best for you at that right time. Like, it's unbelievable, especially because everybody's hammered.
Yeah.
Everybody's selfish. Everybody's just being an absolute dirtbag.
Yeah. The first bartending job I had actually was off of 495, and this was like during that area of Gillette that wasn't, the around the stadium wasn't built up and shit yet.
Yeah.
So it was, when people like left the game, they just like descended upon the fucking area like locusts. So they'd be driving down 495, bombed, and pull off the first time they saw like a fucking, a sign for a restaurant.
Yeah.
So every Sunday that I would work, it would just be like 5 o'clock or 4:30 after a fucking 1 o'clock game where everybody would just start filing in Brady jerseys, just more drunk than the last guy who came in. And one fucking Sunday, though, there was a guy who came in and he was so hammered. He was so hammered. He you spotted him like coming in the door.
Yeah.
It's like he like took out like a vase like as he was walking in kind of shit. And you're just like, Christ. So he gets up to me. He's like, 4 Bud Lights. It's like, no, you won't have any. And I was like, you're shut off immediately. So, but he's there with his girlfriend and like a whole crew of dudes. And so I was just like, I'm not dealing with this shit. You guys are all out of here. You know, just get the fuck out, you know? And then, so in the parking lot, they go and, you know, they're kind of milling around. And I start seeing like an argument start ensuing, like through the window. I'm like, what the fuck is happening now? This guy is like arguing with the girlfriend that he came in with. And all of a sudden, I just see him rear back and just haymaker his girlfriend right in the face. Like, crumples her. She's just like, fucking out. He punches her so hard she crumples and then like flops on the ground and her head like hits the like fender of a car that's like outside. So like we had to call the police, dude. Like they came down. This dude's like getting dragged away in cuffs. He's like resisting arrest even then. Like the girl's being like loaded up on a gurney because she's just straight like mangled at this point. It's just like Christ. And now I'm asking, you know, everything is like shut down at this point because they're in there like, you know, questioning me and shit. And like, when did he get here? And so I was like, the moment he got here, he was fucking drunk, and I just sent him on his way. Yeah, exactly. But that was the worst. Like that period of time before Gillette like had built up enough where they had all the, you know, now it's like fucking.
They all stay contained.
Exactly. You're all over there and you can all, you know, you all have to deal with those fucking people. But yeah, back in the day, that was just how it was. These dudes would drink like 30 beers in like the span of 5 hours and then just like descend upon the community. Well, all right. I think we got episode 5 in the books.
Leave it on that note. Episode 5, signing off.
Yeah.
Let me get that like, share, and subscribe. Come on, support your friends.
Yeah.
People say, oh, you like us, you're not famous yet. It's because you don't share my shit.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The very least like. Later, guys.